Parents took us to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra. My wife wore noise-canceling headphones listening to a podcast for the entire show. Do I have the right to be mad about this?
That's the whole question?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's very involved, though. Like, I think it's...
Yeah.
Because it's a gift. It's a gift from a family member.
Right.
And I know we all have gift-related thoughts from family members, first of all.
True.
And I think I'd be completely on board with this.
Oh.
Like, except for the also listening to a podcast the entire time.
It does. It is a little rude, right? Like the most polite answer would be, if you're gonna not enjoy it, go anyway. Appreciate the gift from the other family, right? You can be in your own thoughts, but you should at least look like you're paying attention.
I'm sure you got this as a kid. As a kid, you said, I like enter something.
Yes.
And then everyone in your family that you've ever met, including your mailman, is giving you something of that gift. So when I was a kid, I said I liked fairies. What I meant was the James Christensen artistry, epic-looking type fairies. Oh. And what everyone heard was Tinkerbell, Hot Topic, statues, and posters. And
wings? Did you ever get any wings to wear?
Thankfully, they knew me well enough not to give me
yeah, you're not a wing wearer.
But so for gifts are really hard for me because I don't have a poker face. And I get the thing and I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
And I know that I've had partners in the past who are hurt.
Yeah.
By my gift-related reactions.
Right.
And meanwhile, I'm like, why are you giving me so much stuff?
Right.
So that's why this post in particular jumped out to me, because that has been a lifelong conversation of gifts and how appreciative, like, I mean, obviously the time machine answer is get ahead of the parents and say, this is not something my partner would enjoy. Don't get them a ticket.
Oh, right.
You know?
Right, let them stay home.
Let them stay home, spend the money on all of us, and then use their ticket money to get them, a subscription to podcasts.
Sign me up for a Patreon. Fund my Patreon. That's an interesting, because on the one hand, like, the ticket to the experience is an antidote to your stuff, right? But it still has to be a curated experience.
Exactly.
And just because the whole family is going doesn't mean everybody has to go, right?
Exactly. But, okay, so if I'm this person and
Which person, the husband or the wife? The poster or the wife?
Good catch. The spouse. The one with the noise-canceling headphones.
Okay.
So if I am that person and this is not my jam at all. Like it would have to be not my jam to your level of misery for me to,
absolutely not go.
To not go, or to noise canceling headphones and a podcast, because I have noise canceling earbuds that I wear sometimes when life is too loud, but I feel like in this case I like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, so if it was too loud I'd put them in but still be able to hear them to a certain extent.
Got it.
I feel like having a podcast on. I feel like she shouldn't have told anybody there was a podcast. Is that deceitful to be like, I just have they're just in.
Now listen, so I'm sensitive to chewing sounds. So when I have dinner with my partner, I always have my earbuds in, and about a third of the time I am listening to something. And about 2/3 of the time I'm pretending that I'm not listening to something. But they could have got away with it. I think you're right. I think the spouse just say, "Oh, it's just a little too loud," and then everybody's really glad that you're there and you appear to be participating, and you nod and clap at appropriate moments. You could totally get away with that without telling anyone that you're listening.
It's a question of dishonesty versus rudeness. Or, dishonesty, a lie by omission, not telling anyone. Yeah. But obviously
it's a victimless crime.
But if people found out, so if you're, say, the parent and you just dropped $50, $100 a ticket, and you find out they're listening to Howard Stern or something obnoxious.
Or our show.
Or hell, even our show. In the background, how would the parent feel?
That's true. And I guess it depends on how much you care about that parent's feeling.
Yeah. Like even I'm aware enough to know, like, people's feelings are important and will cause problems later.
It might cause problems later.
Yeah. So I believe the poster is completely allowed to have feelings about this always.
Yeah, they can be mad. I think they can be mad.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that maybe they can be mad if the spouse didn't express their feelings before the event, right? If they knew before they were coming, I'm actually not going to enjoy this. There are some reasons why. I'd prefer to do this other thing. Like that kind of open communication about it, I think could have prevented the situation to begin with. But if you say all along, like, oh, I'm fine, I love it, I'm fine, don't worry about me, it's fine, and then you get to the place and you act like an ass, then yeah, they get to be mad. But if they've told you and you don't let them off the hook.
Isn't that a Bob's Burgers? I'll go, but I'll complain the entire time, and then the other person says fair enough or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about
I've
communication.
done this.
It's about communication, though. You know, and you just say, okay, for next year, what's a better gift idea?
Yeah.
And let that be. I know it's so hard to get in-laws and such in on that conversation, or even when you have them in the conversation, for them to respond in a positive, helpful way. But I mean, I don't know. I hope that everyone is kind and caring enough to. Thank you, Alex, for his. Alex really wanted to be famous. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Did we solve it? Did we fix it?
I think we discussed it.
Wait. Based on your experience.
Based on my experience.
If you were you play the poster and I'll play the spouse.
Okay.
Based on your experience, poster, what would you do?
What
would you do next?
I would say, just for next year, what do you actually want?
Yeah.
And I will be the go-between between my parents and you.
Yeah.
And let's do something else. What is something more in your realm that? And then I'd also be like, is there some underlying thing specifically with Trans-Siberian Orchestra or with large musical concerts? Like I know for me,
right? Is it the crowd? Is it the actual content? Right?
I went to an amazing performance once. But it made me deeply uncomfortable because it was very, very religious, and I have a lot of religious traumas.
Oh, sure.
And I didn't know what was going to happen. I just got blindsided by some Jesus. No offense, Christians. It's my experience.
Yeah.
But like, so that actually bothered me, but it was no one's fault. And if you were the podcast listener.
If I were the spouse, based on my experience, I would say, if you're going to go, you have to go. You have to go, you have to be open, you have to give it a full shot. You can learn later for sure. I don't want to go next time, right? But if you think you're going to be surly, and that's the word I used to use for when I would do this with my in-law. If I was going to be surly, I would try to avoid, I would try to get out of it. And I think that this couple could use that, like, a little bit of give some people some space to stay home, right? We don't have to do everything together just because it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. Cool.
We'd love to hear your comments and thoughts on this.
Yeah, tell us what you think. Do you think this poster should be madder than just mad? Should the poster, I don't know, like throw a fit or something? What?
And then, in addition, if you would like to leave a comment, please tell us some of the gifts you've gotten for Christmas that were not a good fit.
Ooh.
I would love to hear those stories.
Ooh, Jill, can you think of one off the top of your head?
I once got a meat thermometer.
I gave someone a meat thermometer this Christmas.
It wasn't me. This was years ago. This is an in-law of sorts. Did not know what to get me and had just like things in the checkout line on their way out of the store.
Oh my gosh.
There was a meat and that was before my food.
I was gonna say
that was before my foodiness was here. This is when I was back down at like 20s.
Okay.
And I'm like.
Oh, Jill, I'm so embarrassed because I gave a meat thermometer to a cousin in his 20s who I think is a pretty high level foodie.
Okay, that could be a difference.
But he did open it, was like, oh cool, a meat thermometer. I'll put it next to the one I already have.
That's classy. What's something you gotten though that was just like not the right gift?
You know, my family used to do a thing, because I sort of like fashion and like weird things, that they would find things that were ugly and they would say, I thought this was ugly, but you would like it. And once I got this, it was a purse, and there was fur, and there was like a quilted brocade situation, and there were buttons and
still have it?
beads. God, no.
I want a picture.
Oh,
Okay.
God. No.
That went right to Goodwill.
Yes, it did actually. You know what? I think I re-gifted it. I think I gifted it to someone.
This is too ugly for me.
Here, please. Maybe you can do it. All right. Well, happy holiday, whatever you celebrate. Send us your holiday advice questions, your stories, and we'll maybe talk about them based on my experience with Carrie and Jill.